Email is the shortened form of the term electronic mail. Email messages are delivered over the internet and may contain text, still images, videos, and links to websites. In addition to your employer-provided email address, you may choose to use one of the many providers of free or paid email services for your personal email needs. Unlike postal mail, which you must receive in person at the mailbox station in front of your house or at a post office box, email can be retrieved from almost anywhere. You'll need an internet connection and a device, such as a desktop computer, laptop computer, smartphone, or tablet. With your internet-connected device, you can check your email from home, school, while on your morning walk, or while vacationing in a nearby city. Consider your postal mail delivery. It requires certain pieces of information to deliver properly. You'll need the recipient's name, street address or P.O. box, a city, state, and zip code. Similarly, email addresses have to be formatted a certain way. They contain 3 parts with proper symbols between. First is the username, followed by the @ symbol, then the domain name with a dot, and finally the extension. Joe Smith's mailing address is 123 Any Street, Troy, New York 12180. His email address is a little different. He may still be using his very first email address, smithjoe_182@aol.com. This address has a username, the @ symbol, a domain name, and its extension, which is .com. Note the underscore in the username portion of his email address is important because email addresses can never have spaces in them. People often choose to use underscores in place of spaces to help make their email address easier to remember. But did you know that Joe can have multiple email addresses? Joe recently decided that he'd like to switch to Gmail, and his new Gmail address is jsmith182@gmail.com. But his employer also assigned him an email address to use for business purposes, j.smith8@anycompany.com. And he also takes night classes at the local community college. His student email address assigned by the school is jrs37@anyschool.edu. Note how they all have usernames, @ symbols, domains, and extensions. You may be thinking that 4 email boxes is a lot of email to check, but our computers and mobile devices make checking our messages easier than ever. In fact, you usually don't need to check your email to see if there are new messages. Your device will alert you with a notification when there are messages to read. There's no need to waste time logging in just to see if someone wrote you a message. In today's quickly evolving, technology-based world, it's more common than ever to have multiple email addresses that are used for different purposes. Most people have at least 2 email addresses, one for work and business purposes, and another for personal use. If you've been reluctant to use computers and smartphones, you may be wondering if you need to have an email address. In addition to sending and receiving messages from family and friends, you'll need an email address to make purchases or pay bills online, to participate in telehealth doctor visits, to use online services of governmental websites, such as the DMV or voter registration, to use social media websites or subscribe to digital newsletters, and so much more. Are you ready to create an email address? First, you'll need to choose an email service provider. Gmail is the most popular free email provider at the time of this recording, but you might choose another service. Check out the tutorials linked in the description below this video for more information on email servicing. Once you've chosen your provider, start thinking of your username. When you register with an email service, you'll enter your desired username, and they will check to see if that username is available. If you have a more common name, someone may already be using the email address you'd like. Since your email belongs to you specifically, using variations of your name is a great place to start, but be ready to try some variations if your first choice of username is not available. In our example, Joe Smith wants to add some numbers to his username because his actual name is fairly common. He's using his lucky numbers in his email address rather than any part of his social security number or references to his birthday or age. Here are some more facts and tips about email addresses. Capitalization is not a concerning factor. Here is Joe's email address typed in 3 different cases. First, I've typed his email address in lowercase letters, but the J, R, and S have been typed as capital letters, making it easier to understand. This type of capitalization is called Pascal case. Keep in mind that Pascal case is a clever way to create long, strong passwords for your accounts too. In the second example, I have typed his email address in all lowercase letters. And in the third example, I've used all capitalized letters. Regardless of how I capitalize the email address, all 3 messages would be delivered just fine. The email service recognizes all of these addresses as the same. When it comes to usernames, capitalization may not matter, but it most definitely does matter for passwords. Type in your password very carefully. Using a mix of capital and lowercase letters in your passwords increases its effectiveness, but you'll need to be sure you type it the exact same way each time. Exact punctuation and complete email addresses matter. If you miss a dot, underscore, or a letter when addressing an email, your message may be misdelivered to the wrong user. Or your message might bounce back to you as undeliverable if there's no matching account with the typo you entered. Be sure you are carefully addressing your email messages, especially if the content is sensitive or personal. But now's a good time to mention you should never send any personally identifying information to anyone via email. And this would include your social security number, date of birth, credit card information, or other protected private info. When you are handwriting your email address on a form, always print neatly and avoid using cursive lettering. Take a moment to try to decipher what Joe's email addresses are here. Pause the video if you need a moment. Did you guess correctly? In his rush to write the email address, the underscore looks a bit like a dot, and the 8 can look like an S, or a dot can get lost in the pen strokes. In the first example, he didn't add his email extension. We can't assume that everyone automatically knows that Gmail addresses end with the .com extension. Printing your full, complete email address as neatly as possible will always help those processing your form later ensure that they have the right address on file for you. Now that you understand the basics of email addresses, you're ready to start learning more about using email. Check the description below this video for links to free online tutorials and other videos to help you avoid dangerous emails.